Assalamualaikum and greetings, Doctor. How are you? Today we're going to discuss about prejudice from our group, Andrea, Ashikin, Zunur, Shukri and Nadia. When seeking love and employment, overweight people, especially white women, face slim prospects. 2/3 of gay secondary school students report experiencing homophobic bullying. 4 in 10 Americans admitted some feelings of prejudice against Muslims. So, the question is, what is prejudice? Prejudice is prejudgment, unjustified, usually negative, attitude toward an individual or group. Prejudice is one of the best examples of our dual attitude system, which is explicit and implicit. Implicit prejudice. Implicit prejudice is automatic negative feelings or beliefs toward an individual or group without being aware of it. It can be measured by implicit association test or IAT to assess what you know without knowing you know. Explicit prejudice. Explicit prejudice is consciously controlled, unjustified, negative attitude toward an individual or group. Two of the most common forms of prejudice are racial prejudice and gender prejudice.
What are the sources of prejudice?
Social sources. Socialization in a society could be one of the roots of prejudice. The difference between individuals' belief and background become the gap in social position, which then create a prejudiced perception in oneself towards others. In another word, unequal status creates prejudice. The first one is authoritarian personality. Someone with authoritarian personality tend to be obedient towards power over them, but become aggressive to those they consider lower in status than themselves. Let's say, Suman is a manager at a fine dining restaurant. He treats customers and superiors with respect and obedience. To his prejudice, power and money mean the world to him, but he considers his subordinates are weak and powerless compared to him. The second one is religion and racial prejudice. Gordon Alpert summarized that the role of religion is paradoxical. It makes prejudice and it unmakes prejudice. From this, it explained that religion and racial prejudice vary based on perspectives. We can say that some elders are more racially prejudiced when it comes to maintaining traditional belief, such as wife must be obedient to her husband in any situation. On the other hand, these elders could also be the least racially prejudiced when it comes to modernization, such as committing religious lifestyle. The last one is conformity. In a high school class consists of 30 students, the current trend is wearing hoodie. Therefore, it is more likely for them to conform with majority than to stand out as an odd. Conformity also widely influenced in gender prejudice. Back in the early days, society used to think that women should stay at home, taking care of the kids rather than going to work. Motivational sources. Prejudice can also be formed through motivational sources such as frustration and aggression. The first one is scapegoat theory. Scapegoat theory suggests that when the cause of our frustration is intimidating, we redirect our hostility. This theory explains unfortunate events well. For example, in the early modern period, people vented their fear on witches by chasing or burning them down for social crisis issues. The second one is realistic group conflict theory. This theory suggests that prejudice arises when groups compete for scarce resources. Competition plays a crucial role in boosting prejudice. This can be seen in Robert's Cave experiment, where a group of boys were placed in a summer camp and asked to compete. However, this experiment failed to show that putting two hostile groups together did not reduce the intergroup prejudice, but cooperation and having common goals did. The last one is social identity theory. Social identity theory states that people belong themselves in a group as a source of pride and self-esteem. When there is a difference in social background, we tend to have prejudice towards others.
Next is following by cognitive sources. Cognitive sources consist of categorization, distinctiveness, and attribution. Categorization classifying people into groups, energy-saving schemes for making speedy judgment and predicting how others will think and act. Categorization divided by two, which is spontaneous categorization. Ethnicity and sex are powerful way to categorizing people. Second is perceived similarities and differences. Assume that other groups are more homogeneous than our own. Outgroup homogeneity effect, a sense that they are all alike and different from us and our group. Secondly is distinctiveness, perceiving people who stand out. Distinctive people and vivid or extreme occurrences often capture attention and distort judgments, thus breed stereotypes. Distinctiveness consists of distinctive people. This distinctiveness fits self-consciousness as we are aware of people reacting to our distinctiveness. The second example of distinctiveness is vivid cases, which is more available in memory but seldom represents the larger group. Lastly is distinctive events. As we are sensitive to distinctive events, the co-occurrences of two such events is especially noticeable. Lastly, attribution, which is related to fundamental attribution error. We attribute others' behavior so much to their inner dispositions that we discount important situational forces. For example, group-serving bias. We grant members of our group the benefit of the doubt. Second is the just word phenomenon. We are taught that good is rewarded and evil punished. Hard work and virtue pay dividends, laziness and immorality do not.